I'm Sadie Evans. This is another great episode of ETX ROCKS featuring Heathen City.
From the unknown to the stars, from the couch to the car, from the unheralded and the unheard, to the legends and beyond, it's where we all belong. Yes, this is where it all starts. From every genre, from every plane, this is where the music's played. So tune right in, won't you bring a friend? This is where it all begins. Welcome to the show, let the music flow of every style and creed. And you can bet your socks that ETX rocks, ETX rocks.
All right, guys, here we are on the set of the ETX ROCKS Show, a.k.a. our living room, and we have two-thirds of a trio, or are you guys a quattro now?
Well, we are more of a, we're not a set roster.
Okay.
What do you call us?
An amorphous blob.
There we go.
Yeah.
That could be the tagline of this episode. Already 30 seconds in,
Right.
we might have it.
Some days we're 2, some days we're 4, some
All right.
days we're 6. You just
Well,
never
we're
know
sitting
that.
here with Heathen City. It's Wes and Evan, both living in Henderson, but really making your mark out in Austin, the live music capital of the world.
Absolutely.
That's right.
And so what kind of spawned that idea to get over to Austin and make that kind of your home base?
Mainly because of our producer, Luke Garrigus,
Yeah.
who's also...
Incredible.
Yeah.
Yes,
Absolutely
yes,
amazing.
absolutely amazing, talented young guy.
Yeah.
I mean, what he's accomplished at the age of, 25 now
Yeah.
is ridiculous.
Yep.
But Luke originally had a studio in Mineola, Texas. And we started going over there and just recording, playing around, and then he moved his studio to Austin, or really Georgetown, just north of Austin. We went down there, and that's kind of where Heathen City morphed and
Cool.
began. And we started going down there and working on what would be our first EP. And so since we do all of our work there with Luke, and he's such a vital member of what we do, we decided, well, we'll base everything out of here because this is where we get the work done.
Yeah.
And that's why.
I think that's a cool idea too, and we're going to be talking a lot with Heathen City about their music and maybe the stories and processes behind the music and all of that stuff. I've been sitting here listening to them play for the last hour or so, and for me, I try to put into words what I'm hearing, and I think, guys, if Bakersfield met the swamp, that's kind of the sound I'm hearing.
It's a really nice thing to say.
That is awesome. I've never heard our sound put that way, but I'm going to go with that from now on.
Yeah.
It's going to be our tagline there.
Yeah, and I really do believe it's true. Like, you hear that Bakersfield sound, the Buck Owens, Dwight Yoakam kind of vibe, but then it's so swampy and so organic at the same time, kind of with your different riffs and the bass line involved in that as well. And again, I'm only hearing 2 of them. I'm not hearing any percussion or anything like that, no leads or anything. So, but guys, you're going to really get a kick out of their live music, and completely unplugged, well, almost completely unplugged. We do have a bass player here.
Right.
It's all right.
Hopefully we hid the plug really, really well on the shot. I don't know if we did or not. But you guys are going to play us a couple of songs. So tell us a little bit about the first one.
Lamarr is basically a song, like as we talked about, based right out of hanging out in Austin and the experience there. Lamarr is a pretty prominent street that runs north and south in Austin. And back when I lived in Austin in my younger college days, had a lot of fun just kind of cruising Lamarr, cruising the street and picking up friends, going down there. There was always either a place to go or somebody that lived off of Lamarr. So we just had a lot of good times. And as college kids and boys will be boys tend to do, you kind of had to look out for the APD.
Yeah, the after midnight stuff.
Yeah, you had to be careful. So it's really a fun song. It's a slower song, but it's a fun song about hanging out with your friends and cruising Lamarr.
And it's a story song too.
Yes.
You really have to pay attention to the lyrics to get it.
Right.
And I think, you know, if you're really listening to the music, that's going to be a big component to what you're doing.
Right.
You know, you have to tell that story or the song becomes hollow. It becomes meaningless to the listener. At least as a fan, that's how I feel about it.
Right.
So when I hear a song like Lamar and a lot of the other songs off the EP as well, they're telling a story. They're showing a part of whoever wrote the song's life. And that's good music in my opinion. And guys, we're really, really excited to have Heathen City here, and you guys are going to hear a live and almost unplugged version of Lamar right here in the ETX Rocks living room. Y'all check it out.
You've been talking about, oh, I've been showing how you're not too sure what I'm all about. You've been talking about, oh, I've been wrong, oh, I've been staying out way too long. If you're leaving here, I'll be around. If you're staying home, safe and sound, don't wait up, I'll be the last one home tonight. We might lose our souls before the first sunlight. The hash in hand, and we're driving down Lamar. Tell the APD we're not going that far. Please forgive me, dear, for all I've done to you. I'll try really hard to be a better you. If you're leaving here, I'll still be around. If you're staying home, so safe and sound. Don't wait up, I'll be the last one home tonight. We might lose our souls before the first sunlight. A hash in hand, and we're driving down Lamar. Tell the APD we're not going that far. Ooh,
Okay, so we are back, and again, we're sitting here in the living room with Heathen City. Both of these guys are still East Texas. They're still here in East Texas. They're playing a lot of shows out in Austin and elsewhere in Texas as well. And the first EP has been out for a while. It's called No Seeds. Maybe 4 or 5 years, I guess?
No, not quite that long. It came out in actually 2 years ago this month.
Okay.
May of 2016. Started recording it in the fall of 2015 out at Black Room Studios with Luke Garrigus. Had some awesome
Award nominated.
Award not yes,
Yeah.
very talented. My buddy, we miss him. We were talking about him on the way here. Like, we wish Luke could be here, but as talented as Luke is, obviously he has a lot of clientele coming into his studio. But started in the fall, worked with some fantastic musicians. Brandy Clark played fiddle.
Really?
Yes, Brandy.
Wow.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
Pat Lyons played pedal steel and a little bit of lead guitar when Luke wasn't handling that. And he's phenomenal. He toured with Cody Jinks right after the EP came out.
Yeah.
So I said, Pat, we really need you around to do some things, but I guess I understand why you can't be around.
Cody Jinks, y'all.
Yeah, man. And it was so cool.
I bet you Pat real quick was like, Heathen who?
He really threw us a bone. I don't know how honest he was. I love you, Pat. I went to catch Cody with Pat. Pat got me on the list to kind of get in or whatever when Cody came through Longview. So I went and I met with Pat early and just kind of hung out close with him, and then hung out with him afterwards. Met Cody and the band and everything, and they were trying. They were telling me we jam No Seeds EP on the road all the time, and I didn't know. I didn't know if that was like true, but I certainly appreciated the sentiment of trying to make us feel good, I guess. But
I'd be like, say it from the stage.
right, yes.
Or it's not true.
It's not true.
Unfortunately, he said that after the show.
Yeah.
I think I was intended. No.
He was trying to make you feel good. It's okay.
Timing is everything.
Yes,
Right.
that's
I
true.
mean, it is everything.
Right.
And,
But we worked with some fantastic musicians, and we've been very blessed and fortunate to do that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And so, guys, we're sitting here with Heathen City. It's episode 255 of the ETX ROCKS Show. Definitely want to thank you guys for following the journey that we have going on here. I also want to thank all you guys out there that are contributing to the show. It's because of y'all that we have a brand new website. You can follow along with that website at www.etxrocks.show. Very, very simple. etxrocks.show. There's over 10,000 hours of content right there at your fingertips on that website. From live full-length episodes to live music videos, unplugged like Heathen City was today, or almost unplugged like Heathen City was today, and just all kinds of other cool stuff on there. And it's because of you guys out there that are sending money our way that we have that website and are able to broadcast and have folks like Heathen City here on the show. Now, as part of our appreciation for y'all, we're actually going to give away a free CD during this show right here. So all you have to do to win the CD is comment down below the 3 different hats that I wore during this show. First hat I'm wearing right now, I want to thank Sundance Hat, our good buddy, for giving us this hat and drawing a little picture on it, which is pretty cool. So Sundance, thanks for that. The first hat is Sundance Head. You guys are going to have to pay attention to the other 2 now. Okay, so again, we're here with Heathen City and Evan and Wes. And now, Wes, you were a singer-songwriter type for a while, too, as a solo artist around here, right?
Yeah, correct. I went with my middle name instead of my last name. I was Wes Scott, or I am Wes Scott. My last EP I made was at the old Black Room Studios in Mineola, Texas, with Luke Garrigus. It's called the Oliver Cromwell EP. So it came out in 2014, but that's the last bit of solo work. I've been pretty focused with Heathen City and really enjoying it, playing with this guy here for the last couple years.
And one thing that I really enjoy about y'all's mindset and strategy as far as, music and the band goes is the fact that you understand that, exclusivity is important in music. If you play everywhere all the time, then people expect you to play everywhere all the time. But if you kind of limit your live performances, then people are going to be like, hey, we need to catch this band while they're here, because God only knows when they're going to play again. Mm-hmm. So you guys kind of keep that idea. You're more focused on recording rather than live performances. What is the reason behind that mindset for y'all?
We want a Heathen City show. Well, before I say that, we want to make good recordings because that's what we love. We didn't grow up with the opportunity to go to concerts every week. We listen to records, as I'm sure you and most listeners do, So that's where our base, and we're really an album-centric band, or collective is what the word I was trying to think of earlier. So we want to focus on those recordings and represent ourselves in the best possible way with those first. And when we play a show, we want it to be an event.
Yeah.
Heathen City's in town. Better catch them. they may not be back for another year or something like
Yeah.
that, you know. And part of that is just we both have families. Evan's getting married here in 2 weeks, by the way.
2 weeks.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I have a wife and 2 beautiful girls, and we've got other things and other projects that we work on.
How much of a factor is geography into that as well, with you guys being here and Luke being out there?
Absolutely. You know, we would love to play. Luke, I don't even know if Luke will be able to play much live with us on tour this summer. He might be able to play the Austin show.
Right.
But otherwise, you know, we're going to have Rick Droit. It's kind of like when you asked earlier, how many of you are there? We're more of a collective. Me and Evan are the 2 constants, and there's no telling who you might
Right.
see playing with us. But it's always good musicians, and it's always a fun time. And we try to get the most talented and fun to work with that we can.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, one thing that can be really frustrating for a band is, you know, if you are a recording band, first and foremost, I mean, you have to sell your product too. I think that's important as well. I mean, recording it is one thing, but then making sure that people are hearing it is quite a different altogether.
Right.
And a lot of bands depend on that live performance, that live concert, that live tour to promote their recorded stuff.
Absolutely.
So if you guys aren't performing live, how difficult is it for you to promote the music coming from the studio?
It can be challenging. I'm not, you know, honestly, and there's so many good artists that you don't want to say you're competing with them, but everybody's trying to be heard.
Right.
And especially, like you said, if you're not out there playing live, but as you mentioned earlier, you can get in a rut of playing the same venues over and over, and then it's the same audience coming to see you that's already bought your music.
Right.
So your promotion is
Limited.
a little bit limited
Yeah.
there. It's still a cool thing to do, but it's a challenge. But we hope at the end of the day, if we make good enough music and we keep at it, people are going to hear it, and somebody's going to hear it and say, have you heard this band? Just that happens, you know. And if it doesn't, then we'll keep trying until it does.
And I think being proactive is a very important thing as well. You know,
Absolutely.
You can't sit on anything. You can't sleep. You know, you have to show your audience that you're as proud and passionate about your own projects as you want them to feel.
Absolutely.
And if you're not, then that's going to show in your promotion. It might feel, you know, disingenuous and stuff like that. That you're just like, hey, I recorded it. You guys should buy it now. You know.
Well, and when we were doing No Seats to start with, it was almost like Luke said, "Hey, man, you got a great voice for this kind of music. We need to try and do a little bit of that." And we kind of got into it. And we're like, "Man, we really like doing this style," and it became, all right, well, let's do something that we'll really be proud of, so that when other people listen to it, we know that they're going to like it. Because why would you do something that you're not going to put your whole heart into it? And if you've heard people that have heard No Seeds before, it's not all going to be the same. There's some shifting gears, and that's kind of the way we like it. We don't want to be pinned down.
Well, it's like chapters in a book.
Absolutely. If you're going to tell a story, you've got to change the gears and you've got to switch stuff up. And I think with the way that Wes
it can't
writes
be
a
all
song,
tension all the time.
Exactly.
You have to let off the gas pedal sometimes.
Absolutely. And Wes writes some great songs, and some like we were talking about earlier, stories.
Yep.
He's telling a story, and with Luke and everybody else that's a part of it, when we finally put it all together, it creates this great experience for it. And I'm super proud of it. I mean, I was very happy with what we were able to produce with everybody involved, and I think that the more we do that, the better we get at it, and the more people get enjoyment out of it.
Yeah, and I agree with that wholeheartedly. I think the great thing about Texas music and the freedom that exists here within the independent scene is, you know, your influences are allowed to shine through.
Right.
Yes.
Your work, your projects, and all of that. Maybe if you're signed or you're not independent, that's stifled a little bit, that creativity.
Right.
And so as a music fan and as a listener, more importantly, when I hear a new band or a new album or something like that, I hear the influences.
Right.
I hear the differences in so many different artists in the state. It's so neat because you have Heathen City who, you know, I mean, you guys are self-described as basically indie country Americana, but again, it's a whole different hodgepodge of different influences.
Right.
You know, I described it as Bakersfield meets the swamp, but I mean, there's some Hank vibes in there, and there's some Johnny Cash vibes here and there. Tom Petty shines through in some of your work. So, it's the different influences that create the music, I think. They kind of go in and they come out that way.
Right.
And then, you have several different people in the band that all have their own different set of influences.
Absolutely.
So that's going to shine through. So it's so neat to be a Texas music fan.
Absolutely.
And so when you guys are sitting down to write, I imagine, Wes, you're probably the main writer.
Correct.
When you're sitting down to write, how do you allow those influences to come through? And more importantly, when the product is done, are you surprised to hear influences in there?
That's funny you ask. When we finally hear a rough mix of a recording, it's almost never how I originally heard it in my head.
Yeah.
But so often it's better than what I heard in my head.
Right.
A song like Home, for example, I'm a huge Radiohead fan.
Okay.
English alternative rock band, or not really rock band anymore, but anyway, when I was writing Home, the rhythm of that song is very much like a Euro kind of dance beat that they sort of have ventured into in their recent years. And but then we do it with an acoustic set, and we add pedal steel and fiddle to it, and it turned into this, what I was hearing and writing the song was a Radiohead type of song, but what came out was so much cooler to me. Not
Right.
I love Radiohead, but it was something different. Like, I've never heard this sort of Euro beat with this instrumentation, and then you got this story on top of it with this sort of darker tone underlying the whole thing, and it's just, that's how we like. It's basically like throwing a bunch of stuff at the wall, and then hopefully it just kind of comes together in a sneak little way,
And that's a good way of putting it too, because I feel like, I'm not a musician or a writer or anything like that, but I feel like that's how it is.
Right.
It's like I've got all of these different things in my pot, and it's almost like a toolbox for a writer. Like what tool do I want to pull out?
Right.
Do I want to pull out Hank? Do I want to pull out Johnny Cash? Like,
Right.
what's going to come out? So I'm just always curious to hear whether or not you are picking those tools, consciously, or are they just happening?
I guess the answer is a little bit of both.
Yeah.
You have certain ideas, like the beat of that song I was just referencing, but then some of the other tones were just sort of accidental, and some of that can be credited to Evan.
Yeah.
He puts a different bass line can totally change the complexion of a recording. A lot of that has to do with Luke. Just the way he mixed it, the way he EQ'd everything.
Yeah.
What he did with Home specifically was amazing.
Yeah, it was great.
And it's such a darker tone than what I originally thought, but I think it works way better.
Man, when you guys allowed us to put that on our channel, I was so proud of that. I love that song, and I'd already been listening to it prior to you allowing us to do that.
Oh, well, thank you.
So when you emailed us that, man, I was like, dude, this is awesome. I'm so happy we get to show this to folks.
We were excited because
Yeah.
we love ETX Rocks, man. You guys do awesome stuff for the Texas music
Thank you.
scene, especially East Texas, where we're both from, born and bred. So we were excited to finally get on the ETX Rocks channel, for sure, man.
And man, I'm just super thrilled to have these guys here. Hopefully, I know you guys are coming to Gladewater in June, right?
June the 9th at the Central Station, Brick and
Central
Brew.
Station, our friend Tim Barnett out there.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can make that show. We're really
Oh,
awesome.
we'd
That'd be
love,
I'd love
man.
to be out there. Have you guys played there yet?
No, Rick Droid is playing with us, and he
Yeah.
played a set at Gusher Days.
Yeah.
I was supposed to, and I got sick.
Yeah.
I was supposed to have 45
Man, it's
minutes
a great
set.
room.
Yeah.
It's a really cool room.
We've driven by it, and I've heard nothing but great things
Yeah, it's a
about
great
Central
room.
Station,
It's just a
yeah.
good listening room.
Yeah.
It's not a whole lot of seating there, but it's very intimate, and the people there really get a good show. I love going there, because you can really dive into the music in a place like that.
Right.
And there's not too many places like that in East Texas. I'm challenging all of you venues out there. That's right. If you feel like you're not that place, then do something about it. That's all I got to say.
Love it.
I want to thank our good buddies from Victims of Sanity for this great hat. All right, so, speaking of influences, I know there's a strong Hank, and you also said Radiohead, but I imagine they probably differ between the two of y'all, too. So let's talk a little bit about your influences, Evan.
It's kind of interesting because when I grew up, my father actually owned the radio station in Henderson.
Okay.
KGRI and KWRD. That was family owned for a long time, and so that's kind of where I grew up, was around the radio station. We had, eventually it turned into like whatever the current pop was back in the 90s, but
Yeah.
it was, KWRD was always gospel, old school country, that kind of stuff, and that's kind of where I hung out. If there was nothing else going on, I would be, Evan, you're going to the radio station
man.
and sit up there for a little while.
That had to be a cool experience.
It was, the back room with all the records and everything else, and that's kind of where I started listening to everything. And my parents were big time into, you're going to listen to whatever it is that we listen to and whatever we like. And so, like, when I grew up, it was, of course, my parents were big into Huey Lewis and the News and that kind of thing in Chicago, and a bunch of great bands, and then like made me listen to Del Shannon.
Wow.
And not that anybody knows who Del Shannon is anymore, but I mean some of that old school stuff that I just really loved, and I'll still hear it, and I'm like, this is great, y'all need to listen to this. Like, that's really, really old. I understand, and that's fine. It doesn't bother me at all, because I love it. And as I grew up,
Who
I had
created the rebellious phase for you?
See? And so
There's always that one band or artist that turns you away.
That's right.
Yes.
So who was that for you?
Oh gosh, I don't know. When I first started getting into like separating from what I'd always listened to, I was probably a freshman in high school, and the first thing, and it's going to sound really lame, and that's okay, was like Counting Crows and Ben Folds 5. Ben Folds 5 is my
That's
favorite.
much cooler than mine.
Well, he has changed himself so much over the years, and I just respect all the music that he does, and he's an amazing musician. And that was kind of when I started going, all right, this is actually great music, and caught some flack for that, and that's fine with me, because to me it was I'd never heard that kind of style before, and I'd never really gotten into that, and it wasn't like anything that I had been listening to up until that point.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, like, we're talking about, 96, 97, the just hit you in the face with boy bands kind of stuff, and I'm so sick of that stuff.
Hey, I was good friends with the boy band that created all of that. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
New Kids.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Well, and when I was a kid, that's what we did. I've been to more than one New Kids on the Block concert.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when they
I've
were
been
in
backstage at many.
Well,
Wow.
the great thing was that since my dad owned a radio station at that point, and that was that was what they were playing, we got to go to Shreveport and go watch them when they were in Shreveport not too long ago. Or not too long, back when I was a kid. And so that was always interesting, but that also, New Kids on the Block, and then when we were kids as well, we also went to watch Hank Williams Jr. Because of the radio station, and saw the Kentucky Headhunters open for him. That was
Dumas Walker, baby.
yeah, that was an eye-opening experience for
I
a
can
child.
imagine.
That's
yeah.
cool.
But growing up with all of that, and it's just a weird mixture of a bunch of different stuff, and I really will listen to just about anything.
Same.
If it's got, like we talked about earlier, like if it's got a great story, if you can tell they're really pouring their heart and soul into that kind of music, I can find a way to enjoy it, because I really kind of feed off of that sort of vibe.
And so, like I said, your rebellious phase was much cooler than mine.
What
you
was your
think you were
rebellious
getting
phase?
flack. Man. We're about the same age. I graduated in 94, so
Okay,
probably
yeah.
a couple years older
Yeah.
than you. But my rebellious phase was like Mariah Carey.
Nice.
and Atlantic Star.
Okay,
and, who else was back in those days? Charles and Eddie, if you remember them. Would I lie to you, baby?
Come on now.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And Snow in Form.
Yeah.
Like songs like that, I gravitated towards. Like, I don't know what was wrong with me, y'all.
There wasn't a thing wrong with you.
It's
That's
okay.
what we all jammed at that time.
Yeah,
Don't let
and
anybody act like they didn't.
I'll be honest, though. I'm glad that phase happened, because it helped me, kind of open my horizons
Right,
towards music.
for sure.
Prior to that, I was listening to glam rock and
wow.
Poison, Doc, and
Yeah.
Bon Jovi.
Right.
All of that stuff. While everybody else, the cool crowd, was listening to Ozzy and
Right.
Black Sabbath and all of that stuff. So I was really introduced to music probably mid-'80s when all of that stuff was going on. So I wasn't really exposed to Led Zeppelin and Queen and all those cool bands that came just before that phase.
Right.
And so I thought I was listening to really good music. And then as I got older, I realized Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin and The Who and all these other great bands came right before where I thought the cool music was.
Oh, man.
Boy, was I wrong.
Yeah.
The first time I ever heard Led Zeppelin, it was an eye-opening experience, man. It was
Yes.
like, wow, this exists?
Yes.
Right.
You know? And the first time I was ever introduced to country music, you got to remember, I grew up in Massachusetts, so
Right.
it's not like country music is found under every rock.
Right, yeah.
You know, so the very first song I ever heard country music was Daryl Dodd, That's How I Got to Memphis.
Okay.
The old Tom T. Hall song that he covered.
Right.
That was the very first country song that I really kind of paid attention to.
Right.
My dad was a huge classic country, fan. George Jones, Conway, Hank, all that stuff. But
Right.
I would tune it out because that was my dad.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to
Right.
be interested in the same stuff my dad's interested in. That would be not good.
You can't have a rebellious phase and listen to what your parents listen to.
Right.
It doesn't work that
So
way.
my rebellious phase was like Mariah Carey is cooler than Conway Twitty.
Oh.
Wrong.
Yeah, it's
Well, to
tough
each their own. Some people probably believe that.
But what did it was that first wailing steel guitar, and that's how I got to Memphis.
There you go.
I was like, dude, this is different than what my dad listens to.
Right.
Like, this is not like Hank and all that stuff, which I love now.
Right.
But this was lyrical, and it was, the steel guitar just drags you into the song. And so, one of the coolest things that I've ever done as part of this show was I got to talk to Daryl Dodd
Oh, that's cool.
about That's How I Got to Memphis.
Yeah.
The song that created the country music in Boston Chris monster.
A coming of age moment for you.
Yeah,
I'm
man,
sure.
it was so cool.
Wow.
Haven't met Daryl yet. I know it's going to happen, but man,
So
what a great moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're sitting here with Heathen City. This is episode 255. Imagine that, 255
Wow.
episodes. We're coming up on 2 years for this show on June 1st. That's in like 5 or 6 days from when this comes out. June 1st will be our 2-year anniversary for the ETX ROCKS Show. And we've done 255 episodes in those 2 years.
That's a whole lot,
Congratulations, man.
And that's
awesome.
just this show. We actually have 2 other shows that we're producing as well.
Right.
About to be a 3rd show. Y'all stay tuned for that. It's going to be not music related, and it's going to be phenomenal. You guys are going to...
Non-music
You won't believe it. But we're going to be right back with more from Heathen City. Y'all check out this message from an independent artist.
Hi, I'm Lee Mathis,
I'm Philip Griffith.
and thanks for tuning in to ETX Rocks.
All right, so we are back. This is episode 255 featuring Heathen City. And if you guys are watching the ETX ROCKS Show or listening in frequently, then you know we like to play a game with our guests. And of course, this is going to be no different. Now, when we email y'all, we say, check out an episode or 2 at our YouTube channel, blah, blah, blah. And some folks will, some folks won't. We can usually tell who does, though, because
Right.
if you're expecting the game, then we know you watch.
Right.
If you're not expecting the game, what's up with that?
Yeah.
But, we have 2 different games that we like to play. One's called Rapid Fire, one's called What the Heck. And usually we only play Rapid Fire with solo artists.
Okay.
But I want to see how this goes. It's going to be fun.
Cool.
And I want to thank my buddy Lee Mathis for this amazing hat. This will be the 3rd hat out of 3. Now all you got to do is comment down below the 3 hats I wore during this show, and I will give you a comment down below with the 3 hats and your email address. And I will send out a email to you and give you a choice of CDs that you guys can choose from. And we'll send you out a CD just for guessing the 3 hats. Pretty simple. Again, it was Sundance Head, Victims of Sanity, Lee Mathis. Comment below. Don't forget your email address. All right, so before we get into rapid fire with you guys, I have to ask where the name Heathen City came from.
Oh, that's all me, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. A good friend of mine is actually a pastor at a church in Henderson, and I worked with him at a previous job at a bank. And funnily enough, we have a funny relationship because we don't agree on just about anything.
Mm-hmm.
We come at every issue from opposite ends, But we both have a similar sense of humor. We both like music. And, as far as any sort of deep theological beliefs, we both have the same backbone. We just come at it from different angles. So we got into the habit, I'd call him Rev, and he calls me Heathen.
Wow.
And what was funny is his wife, who's a sweet, sweet lady, we were out at a bank function outside of the bank at some point, and she heard him call me that, and she snapped on him. Sweet little preacher's wife. Don't be calling somebody a heathen. And we just had the biggest kick out of that. So I said, his name's Matt. He said, he doesn't care. He knows it's a joke. And I told her, I said, I really don't. And it kind of evolved into this sort of badge of honor. A heathen is often looked at as this sort of person or thing that's trying to spread some sort of negative connotation into the world. But to me, it's also representative of something or something that is just trying to do things in a different way. Mm-hmm. And from that basis or definition, in today's world and just in my thoughts, we could use a few heathens.
Cool.
So.
Yeah. Usually I'll ask a question like that early on, but I wanted to.
No, that's cool.
Wanted to wait. But okay, so we're going to play rapid fire. Now, rapid fire is pretty simple. I'm going to ask you guys 10 questions in a rapid fire situation.
Do it.
So I'm going to be as quick as I can. But you guys actually have 90 seconds to answer these questions. And if you don't answer them in 90 seconds, this might be hard because there's two of you now. And we're not changing the rules at all.
So I was going to say, do you want us to take turns or just either one of
You're
us?
just going to have to be quick. Yeah.
Okay.
So 90 seconds. If you don't answer in 90 seconds, and you guys' style is going to morph more into like a hip-hop band.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
You guys will go from heathens to thugs.
Yeah.
If you don't answer in 90 seconds.
All right.
Heathen.
All right. So you guys ready for this? Now, a lot of these might be in a would you rather kind of scenario.
Okay.
Oh, goodness. Okay.
Let's do
So you
this.
ready?
I'm excited, yeah.
All right, so this is rapid fire with Heathen City. Would you guys rather CDs or vinyl?
Vinyl.
All right, you can only listen to one song for the rest of your life. What is it?
Day in the Life by the Beatles.
Nice.
Y'all are so good at this. Oh, I have to go too?
Yeah.
Come on,
Oh,
man.
golly. Yeah, I know Ben Folds. I'm aware of Ben Folds. Let's go Jane B. Jane.
That was
Ben
number
Folds,
2,
five.
y'all. Number 2.
Yes.
All right, number 3. Would you rather have hands instead of feet or feet instead of hands?
Feet instead of hands.
Yeah, I'll go with feet.
Really?
Yep. Done.
How would you guys play instruments?
Don't care. I could walk wherever I wanted to.
I'll get me a sequencer
Upside down.
and make beats with my toes.
See?
And we'll do the hip-hop thing.
Awesome. All right, would you guys rather be in a movie with your favorite actor or sing a duet with your favorite singer?
Duet.
Duet.
Okay.
I'd be afraid of Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah.
All right, number 5. Would you rather give bad advice or receive bad advice?
Receive.
Yeah, receive.
Okay. Number 6. Would you rather eat 10 pounds of cheese in one sitting or 1 gallon of peanut butter without water?
10 pounds of cheese.
Oh, give me peanut butter.
All right, number 7. This ought to be good because both of these guys are family men. Or one's fixing to be married, one actually has kids.
Hey,
So,
Sarah.
you ready for this? Number 7. Would you rather listen to elevator music all day or the soundtrack to Frozen all day?
Elevator music.
The dad knows what's up.
Yeah, bless your heart. I think you're right, though, elevator
Yeah,
music. Yeah.
I have to go with elevator music. Do you want to build this building?
Oh, my goodness.
All right, now number 8. You can have one superpower. It could be any superpower, real or imagined. But this superpower has to be completely useless in a dangerous situation.
Wow. In a dangerous situation.
Is growing hair on the top of my head something that I can? Definitely growing hair on the top of
There
my
you
head.
go. That's a good superpower.
It's leaving very
Yeah.
quickly.
I don't know.
Have no fear, Rogaine Man is
See?
here.
It's perfect.
Right?
Locks of love would love me.
Really, really good answer. I don't know if being able to change my voice completely Would that help me in a dangerous situation?
Probably
I
not.
don't think
Okay,
so. I
good.
think that's pretty good.
So I could like sound like Hank Williams Sr.
Whenever
anytime
you
I
wanted
wanted.
So, like Mimicry Man.
Oh,
Mimicry
yeah.
Man, yeah. Mimic Man.
People would hate you.
Mimic
That would
Man.
be awesome.
Yeah.
You'd be that
I
jerk
could
at
crank
work.
call people.
Oh, that'd
It'd be so fun.
I would be calling people as Morgan Freeman.
Right.
Hello, I'm Morgan Freeman.
I would call and just like tell a story, like read from a book,
Right.
like like maybe like Little House on the Prairie or something, and just call as Morgan Freeman and start reading that.
I would just call and say, just wanted to tell you your water bill is due.
Yeah, or call for like
You're a collections agent.
Yeah.
or call for like campaign donations. Please support Donald Trump for president. All right, number 10, last one. They're not really showing gang signs or anything yet, so I think they might be good. Number 10, would you rather look like a fish or smell like a fish?
Which fish? There's so many different fish.
They all smell
They
pretty
all
much
smell the
though.
same.
Yeah.
What are you talking
No,
about?
but I mean, if you look like a really cool looking fish.
I never thought about that.
Right?
Um,
I'm gonna say smell because then you could get caught and be made into sushi.
I'm gonna. Wow, it's weird. I'm gonna just say look like a fish. I feel like that's a little bit better. At least I wouldn't. At least people would want to be around me because I don't smell bad.
Let's just hope it's not like Bill Engvall's dorkfish. You know?
Oh my gosh! Caught him on a corner.
I'm a dogfish. All right, guys, that was rapid fire with Heathen City.
That was fun.
You guys feel like just making beats now or anything like that?
I mean, we can. That'd be fun.
Let's go, bro.
We like to. We said we like to do all
do
kinds of
this.
different styles.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out if you guys made it or not.
I don't know
I
yet.
think they probably
The jury's
pretty
still
safe.
out, man.
Yeah.
We'll find out during the next record.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah.
If the drum tracks are replaced by auto-tune,
Right.
then you know they failed rapid fire.
You never
Well,
know.
Yeah.
We can make a rap record called Rapid Fire.
Hey, there you go.
No, it has to be
Rapid
called
fire.
Mimic Man.
Mimic Man.
Rapid Fire by Mimic Man and Rogaine Man.
Rogaine Man.
There you go.
That's right.
Oh, no.
We got a side project
No,
already.
It's
Done.
called Rapid Fire by Mimic Man and DJ Rogaine.
Yeah. So we're gonna put Heathen City on the table for a
Yeah,
while
it's
and work
going
on this
off
other
for a little
project.
bit.
I want a
Yeah.
third, y'all. If
Project.
that happens, I want a third. My P.O. Box
Fair enough.
number is, but
Beautiful.
no. You guys are actually going to play another song, and this is the song I was talking about earlier that they actually let us put on our YouTube channel. So you guys might be familiar with this already. The song is called Home. Tell us a little bit more about the nuts and bolts of this one.
Home basically was trying to come up with a little bit different sound from what we did on No Seeds. It was put out in July of last year just as a single. Wanted to do kind of integrating more minor chords, integrating more of a minor chord progression and strum pattern, and then as we talked about earlier with the beat, and then Evan just came up with a phenomenal bass line that really accents it, and then of course Pat Lyons and Brandy Clark did their magic, Luke Garrigus did his magic, and there it was, and it
Yeah.
just turned out so well, and we're really proud of it.
I'm really excited to show you guys this version completely live and almost unplugged here in the ETX Rocks living room. Y'all don't go anywhere. This is Home by Heathen City. Y'all check it out.
There's an old train coming, steel rail running down to the middle of our town. There's a lot of crying, black teeth lying around, mile a minute, pound for pound. While we all keep praying, saying there's no way. Turn around and lie about what we're believing, not conceding time. I just turn and walk away. This is just the way I am. Might be right or wrong. Time I made hot summer, I'm still starting fires just to see what I can burn. When they all come running, I just slip inside. I guess they'll never learn. Guess it's just the way I am. Might be right or wrong. I guess it's time I made bittersweet surrender. Never seems to turn quite the way we choose. Play to win so long in the end, just to lose. Like a white horse riding, low hand biting clown. You can never know the truth. The drum keeps beating, overheated crowd. Promise the world, but I refuse. Guess it's just the way I am. Might be right or wrong. Guess it's time I made bittersweet surrender.
All right, so we are back once again. This is episode 255, featuring Heathen City from Henderson / Austin-ish, something like that. And if you guys have been following along, you might know that we have a magic laptop. This thing is, it has a mind of its own. And sometimes when I snap my fingers, it'll just disappear. Let's try. I don't know where. Hey, how y'all doing? The laptop's gone, y'all. Like, I'm telling you, just when I snap my fingers sometimes, just... it goes into like thin air, just like some of the heroes from Infinity War.
Oh.
Spoiler alert. I guess I did that backwards, didn't I?
Yeah.
Too soon?
It's okay.
It's all right. I'll allow it.
All right. I didn't tell them which heroes.
That's true.
Easy. Easy.
It's okay.
Yeah. But yeah, too soon. It's not like a JFK joke. You know?
I mean, we've got some if you want.
We can
I've got plenty.
spit those out real quick.
I think it's safe to use JFK jokes. It's been 50
Yeah,
I
think it's
years or
25
something.
years is the rule, or 20 years.
Is it
the
20
rule.
years?
I think South Park made the rule. It was 20
Oh,
years
okay,
after.
then that's
you
completely-
make the joke.
If, that,
That's
if they said
gonna go
20,
legit.
it's 20. That's it.
It's got to be right.
Yeah, so
That's-
we're close to being able to make jokes about 9/11.
Oh. Oh, goodness.
Well, let's think about it.
It's not 20 years yet.
I got a
3
shiver
years
on
away,
that one,
though.
man.
We're not 20 years
We're 3
yet.
years away. 3 years. You'll see a whole bunch of them coming.
Oh, I'm sure
Oh,
there's
yeah.
that out there.
All right.
Somebody will be cutting edge on
So
that.
once again, we're
yeah.
here with Heathen City. You guys just heard Home by these guys, completely live and almost unplugged here in the ETX Rocks living room. Just really excited to have you guys here finally. And again, we've been listening to the music for a while. The EP is completely free on YouTube, Spotify, places like that. But you guys need to support the artists. You can pick that up also on iTunes, and Google Play, and places like that.
Absolutely.
Very important that you guys, if you dig in the music, support the artists by buying the music as well. And we did mention you have a show coming up in a couple of weeks, June 9th in Gladewater. And where can folks follow along with the Heathen City Journey? You guys have a webpage, social media, stuff like that?
I have a webpage, heathencitytx.com. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, as mentioned before, and as he said, on most streaming sites. We're distributed on most of those as well. So come give us a follow, come give us a visit to our website, check in with us, come out to the shows if you have a chance, and come say hello. We'd love to meet everyone, and we expect it to be a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're hoping to get out to the June 9th show as well. Follow along with all of our social media if you want to find out if we're going to be in attendance for that night. And new music on the horizon as well. When are we hoping for that to come out?
We are shooting for this fall.
Okay.
We go back. Actually, we have on our tour, we have an Austin date. I believe it's June the 18th, the weekend preceding that. We're going to be in the studio at Black Room and doing some more work on that. And then hopefully maybe one more session after that, late summer. And we'll be gearing up for a fall release.
Cool.
It's going to be our first full length.
Yeah.
And we're excited about it. And
a couple of years in the making now, too.
Yeah.
It's like we talked about. We all have a lot of stuff going on and different projects, but we're really excited about being able to come together and get this one knocked out.
Cool.
We're really excited for everybody.
We'll have to have you guys come back and talk
for
about
sure.
the record a little bit. So we're looking at fall 2018 for brand new music. First full-length record for Heathen City. Again, you guys can follow along with everything these guys got going on at heathencitytx.com. You'll find links to their social media there, and I imagine you can probably pick up the record, the EP on that
Absolutely.
as well, right?
Yep.
So make sure you're checking that out. They're going to have all their tour dates listed there as well. Venues, if you want to contact Heathen City for a future gig, that's where you can do that. heathencitytx.com, so make sure you do that as well. Now, if you tuned into the ETX ROCKS Show for the first time, we definitely want to thank you guys for joining us today. You can follow along with everything we have going on at Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We're located at ETX ROCKS. Really, really simple. If you're watching on YouTube, we definitely want to thank you guys a lot for watching. But the best way you can support us and our mission is hit that subscribe button on YouTube. What that does for us is it changes the algorithms and makes our videos more suggested in recommended video sections on YouTube. And that means more exposure for people like Heathen City and all the other wonderful artists that we get to talk to on the show. If you open your YouTube and an ETX ROCKS video is in your recommended section, that is good for not only us, but for folks like Heathen City. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. It's completely free to do that, unless you hit the button twice, and then we will charge you $18.76 in pesos. So don't hit the button twice, because not too many people have pesos.
No.
I don't have any.
And we just tell them that, because if you hit the button twice, you unsubscribe.
Oh, that'd be bad.
And as they say, where pesos are spent, that would be no bueno. See what I did there?
Bilingual.
Yeah, I am bilingual. All right, so definitely hit that subscribe button, and that has huge benefits for you guys too, especially if you're a music fan, because every single video that we put out, whether it's live full-length episode or a live music video, you guys will be the first ones notified of those videos being uploaded. You'll get an email that says, hey, go check out this video.
Yeah.
And it's pretty simple. If you're worried about massive notifications, because we are pretty active, you can also shut those notifications off and remain a subscriber without having to pay pesos.
Which is important.
That's a win-win.
Yeah,
I mean, let's be honest. Now, if you guys don't want to pay us pesos, but you still want to contribute to the show, as you guys might know, we are completely self-funded here on the show. But we have set up a donate link for you folks out there that would like to help out. Just go to www.paypal.me/ETXROCKS, and you can send us anything from 72 cents to $1.2 million.
That's a good one.
Quite a range there.
Yeah.
I like that.
And we just don't go higher than that because we can't count that high.
Right.
Right.
You know?
Gotta take your shoes off for that.
Yeah. My abacus only goes to 1.999.
Right.
People are like, hit Google, what's an abacus? Ah,
Oh.
gotcha. And if you're wondering, I mean, that's a lot of beads.
Oh, yeah. You'd be doing this for a very long time.
Yeah.
Don't call Rogaine Man or Minute Man for that.
No.
That would be bad. So keep it under 1.2 million, folks, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I will take anything from American dollars, Egyptian pounds, rubles from Zelda, We'll take Robert De Niro.
Ian.
Ooh, even better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No more Joe Pesci. I got enough of that. Oh, and Drachma. Drachma's Spence.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're all over the earth.
Well,
Yeah, we are. We actually have a big following in Europe.
Really?
Believe it or not.
That's
Yeah.
great.
that's awesome.
We get about 20% of our views on YouTube from the Europeans.
I heard that Europe is there's quite a bit of Texas music fans.
There is a
Yeah.
cult following for
Yeah,
anything
that's
Texas in Europe.
That's what
Absolutely.
I've heard. I've heard that about Ireland is specifically.
Believe it or not, another place that we get a lot of viewership from is Russia, of all places.
Really?
Yeah, we have several regular listeners from Russia. We want to thank you, Russian folks out there.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Slow down.
Yeah. Easy on the
It's
vodka.
a Russia joke.
Send us some.
If you guys following along at home, that was a Russia joke. Slow down. Because if you don't slow down and you're Russian, then you become Finnish, and that's a completely different place.
Nobody wants to be Finnish.
That's right. No, you really don't. That's a bad thing to be.
Wow.
Dad jokes galore.
That's all we got.
We're here every day, twice on Tuesday. But again, thank you guys so much for contributing to the show. Once again, that's www.paypal.me/ETX ROCKS. And because of you folks out there that have supported the show and our mission, we now have a brand new website, and that's all because of you guys out there. Check that out at www.etxrocks.show. I've put about 300 hours into that website. So you guys check that out.
Yeah.
And I'll just tell you a few things you can find out there. You can find out our schedule of all of our live events. We have an acoustic series that we do here in East Texas. Spoiler alert, that may be coming to Fort Worth very shortly. So you DFW friends out there, be looking for the acoustic series coming your way very soon, hopefully. You can also find all of our live full-length episodes on there. It's all linked up. All of our Songbirds and Troubadours. The Ricky Lynn Gregg Show is on there as well. Episode 2 of that comes out in a couple of days. We're really excited about that. Cool. And all of our live performance videos are streamed live on there, too. Almost like internet radio.
Yeah.
And so by the time this comes out, Heathen City's 2 songs will already be streaming live.
Boom.
On ETXRocks.show. Just check that out and share it with your friends. As we always say on this show, we want to thank everybody out there for always supporting live music of all genres and all styles. And don't ever forget,
ETX Rocks.
From the unknown to the stars, from the couch to the car, from the unheralded and the unheard, to the legends and beyond, it's where we all belong. Yes, this is where it all starts. From every genre, from every plane, this is where the music's played. So tune right in, won't you bring a friend? This is where it all begins. Welcome to the show, let the music flow of every style and creed. And you can bet your socks that ETX rocks, ETX rocks.